So earlier you had said that because you guys were the first, your fingerprints are in so much of the work that still happens today. So I guess my question is, in the future, some of these expeditions are going to be done on like other moons, other planets.
Yeah.
Future of ocean exploration is going to take a completely different, look. So I guess my question is, if you were to come in as a, say, technical advisor capacity, how would you what advice would you give to future explorers looking to, continue your work and the contributions of others, but in settings that are completely different than the ones that we have here on our planet?
Two things. First, things ocean, there's enormous capability for exploration because I think the number of people are using now, and call me a liar for 10%, but it's around 15% of the world ocean, our world ocean, has been adequately explored. That, it includes a lot of things. It's what resources are there, what's the nature, marine life in those places, so on and so forth, as well as the general cartography or mapping of the seafloor, which is going along pretty well in the entire world ocean. So if you're a young person that's looking to get into the world of exploration and you want to find stuff, discover stuff that no one else has ever seen, the ocean's a place to be. I mean, when they went into the Hadal depths, those are the deep trenches in the ocean beyond 20,000 foot depth, they found hundreds and hundreds. Just Victor Vescola's expedition alone, because he had in 2019 something called the 5 Deeps expedition, where he systematically dove to the deepest place in each of the 5 oceans. And they discovered something like 40,000 new species in a 1-year global circumnavigation into the Hadal depths. So, and you can put your name on those. So you're going to find things no one's ever found before. You're going to see things no one's ever seen before. That's a given. That's just our own ocean. So that's one thing. If you want to explore and you want to make unique discoveries and put your name on them, have them associated with you, then the ocean's a place to be. Now, with respect to space, our ocean on our planet, and you probably know this better than I do, but I think there are 11 oceans in our solar system, and our ocean ranks about 5th or 6th. There's some that are much larger. For example, Europa, which is a satellite of, I get it wrong, Saturn or Jupiter. But anyway, it's a planetoid, I guess. The ocean on Europa, as I understand, about 11 miles. No, the ice cap on it is 11 miles thick. Well, the thickest ice cap we have on our planet is about 2 miles, I think, in the Antarctic. And that's not everywhere, just in some places. And the ocean depth in Europa, I forget, it's an enormous number of miles. It's a big ocean. And so there, of course, humans are probably not going to be going to those places. Never say never, I know. But basically, why NASA's investing so much in remote technology, ocean technology, is because they want to go to these oceans and it's kind of prototyping the how of it. What kind of device? What do you want to measure? How can you measure it? The system reliability, because you can't send a technician out to Europa to tweak the thing. Once it's left and headed out that way, that's it. Whatever you got on board is what you're going to have. And if you got self-repair techniques capability on board, that's fine. But that's it. It'd be a one-way trip, and it goes send back the data. So that's kind of intriguing. How much of what we know how to do in the world ocean on planet Earth can translate to the oceans and other parts of our solar system? There's a guy named Kevin Hand, as in hand, at JPL, Caltech JPL, Hand, Kevin. And you can look him up at JPL, which, as you know, is a contract laboratory under Caltech, Pasadena. And Kevin is Mr. Oceanographer for solar oceans. And you can look up his literature and such and learn about that. And it's really fascinating what they're trying to do. But NASA's actually putting our tax dollars into figuring out how to build the devices to allow us to explore these oceans. Because I guess the gold ring, like the merry-go-round, is there life out there? And if there is life, because water is the key ingredient for life. And if you've got 11 oceans in our solar system, chances are there might be something, I don't know of what sort, primitive life in these oceans, and we've got to find out. So that's kind of what winds the main spring with NASA on this stuff. And they also, I've been working in these 2-mile deep, thick ice masses cover in the Antarctic. How do you go down? I mean, how are you going to go through that 11 miles of ice on Europa? If you drill through it, it's just going to freeze up behind you, and there goes your umbilical, because you're using an ROV. You got to use an AOV. Goes down. Well, now I get the data back. Well, it's probably not going to come back to you, so you got to have a kind of a thin filament, a fiber optic cable that's just for data. You multiplex the data and command signals back and forth to the drone. But how do you get through that ice and not have it freezing behind you, and then you lose whatever connection you got to the surface? So probably heat. What they were doing, they were looking at Lake Vostok, a Russian station near the South Pole. And so for years, they were doing this drilling program at Lake Vostok, and they're using kerosene because it has such a, I guess, basically diesel fuel, a very high, very low, I should say, low freezing point. So as you drill, you follow you chase the hole with this petroleum, and that keeps it from freezing back. But guess what? When you break out into the lake underneath there, Lake Vostok is huge. There are, I think, 85 of these lakes under the ice sheets in the Antarctic that are full of water, and have been there for millions and millions of years. So same thing, like with Europa, but a little more modern. 30 million years, what's in that water in way of living things, if any? Because that's been sealed off from the rest of the world for 30 million years. And so that was a big one. They finally solved it, and I think they're using some kind of heat source to keep the hole open. I haven't visited all of that recently, but as a large supporter of the effort was NASA, because it's the same problem they're going to have on Europa, only much larger.